Like Charlie Magri and all them. I'm in Spain, and there's a fella there who won on that where you have to get everything right, the Reign of Britain type of thing.
Mhm.
Sitting in a chair. He got it on boxing, and he was having me and him, and I tied him up with it. I could remember names then, by the way. And anyway, he said to Charlie Magri, "Oh, they've got a fella." He said, "Oh, I know John." He said, "I've stayed at the pub he had because he come up with fighters. Because when Roger Levitt had that stable of fighters, he done something which was unique. He made a contract, and what they were likely to earn, and what the promoter would earn, and the manager, and he was trying to sell it to people as a business. You know, I think he would run a business like a football team. He got an Indian chief to fly through. We were in Las Vegas, and he brought this. They always had a reason because they had a good fighter. This tribe, they were Canadian. He had his own plane. This fucking. Don't get me wrong, no Indian chief like you've ever seen, immaculately dressed and not a bit of coloured blood in him, but he was, white as you are. He come through, and Roger Levitt was signed, but then he found out Roger Levitt had done fucking bankruptcy and fucking embezzlement.
So you put shows on, even at the Eston Sports Centre as well, wasn't it, Glen Macquarie's?
Yeah, that was a tent. I put a tent.
Was it?
Yeah, we got a massive tent. I had to, and then the police tried to stop it. They said it was tantamount to disaster, and I had to get the fella who, the Italian firm, come through, and they says we do religious things in them tents, and they make a lot more noise than any boxing crowd ever made when they're all singing at Holy Jesus and songs. And
so that was on for Sky then. You know, the likes of Mickey Duff there, Tommy Miller.
Yeah, Tommy Miller was there. Well, Mickey Duff was there.
Yeah.
Tommy was
you said to me earlier, John, you said...
Well, Mickey Duff's been up to the Din Off the Park Club a few times.
Was he?
Yeah.
You said to me some of the best fighters you ever worked with from Hartlepool.
They were the best.
Was Garsard and that, and the Feeneys and...
Yeah.
Dave Garsard, was he a really good fighter as I've read?
Dave Garsard he'd been a good rugby player as well, so if you could put Dave as a tough nut, a very tough nut, not the most skillful of boxers, which I don't think he'll deny that. He wasn't finesse, he didn't have a marvellous left hand, but he was a strong, big heavyweight. But unfortunately, heavyweights were getting into the sublime. They were coming in at 6'7".
Yeah.
And if it had been 10 years before, he would have been British heavyweight champion. Because he beat Glen Macquarie, as you know, at Blackpool. But they went in the super heavyweight, these massive fellas. Because big fellas could never fight.
Yeah.
6'7" fellas were normally big, tall, skinny fellas who were getting knocked out. And, they said, like, just no one gave him anything, but suddenly you start getting these big fellas who could move like the world champion now. The race of people. I mean, I was a big fella. Well, I'm 6'2". Fucking hell now. They're all 6'6".
6'8".
Yeah, I mean, you'd never seen everywhere. There was Jess Willard, who got murdered by...
the mob. Was it by the mob, that, wasn't it?
No,
the Mafia.
No, I didn't get no, Jess Willard was the world champion.
Yeah.
He got murdered in the ring, not killed.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fought Dempsey,
yes,
They had to bring him round because the bell had gone and he had to come out for another. He got a broken jaw, broken ribs. He always claimed that Dempsey had plaster Paris in his gloves, which, if you've been in boxing, it's a load of crap. Because if you put plaster Paris in the gloves, what would that fucking do for you? I mean, you've still got the glove, and all the bandages they put round it is fucking same as plaster Paris. It's not as if you're hitting someone with plaster Paris. I mean, have you seen how they bandage him now? They're about that fucking thick.
You still watch boxing, John? You still love the game?
Yeah, I watch it all the time on there. I get on my phone and go through them all. I love watching Sugar Ray Robinson. He was the greatest fighter ever lived. watching that.
It was like God said. It was like God just decided to make the greatest fighter ever, wasn't it?
Yeah, just what he done was unbelievable. I spoke to him. I was talking to his son in Washington when I was with Sugar and them, and they said, right, we'll ring his dad up, but he doesn't remember. He's in an old people's home in San Francisco, and he doesn't remember he's ever been a fighter. He's got Alzheimer's. He says, so it's no use. People are coming and saying you're great, and he's going, you know.
Yeah.
He just didn't.
You've met. I think you've literally met the who's who, John. I've seen pictures of you with like Donald Trump, and you've met everyone. And
Well, I met Donald Trump when we had McCrory.
Glenn McCrory. So you went over there with Glenn for his world title.
We went over with Glenn we went to Trump Palace to watch the boxing there. Then I had a meeting. Glenn wasn't there. They didn't allow fighters to come to them meetings, and they were wanting a 3-fight contract for the Trump Palace, and we had Bob Aaron, and that was when they were talking in millions, and I had to admit it was beyond me. You know, I mean, I'd have to take advice, and I was looking out the window, and New York was all lit up. They said, I never thought I'd be in New York in a skyscraper at a meeting like this. And they said,
a lad from over the border.
Yeah, and they said, it's happened to all of us. I come from Kansas somewhere, you know. And
so what's your book? So your book's going to be Lord of the Rings, John. What do you want to? What's the point you want to get across? Then you just want to kind of what you've done in life.
I just 83. I'm at the end of my life, right? The life I've lived, I shouldn't get to 90, you know what I mean? So nobody will remember me then, and even the people I know will have gone. I'd like to have a record, that's all. If it, like
for grandkids and that. And
yeah, they just give it to me kids and yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to start work on it tomorrow, John. Yeah. So
I'd even pay for it to go in the Gazette, you know, like.
Well, I'll get all that sorted, the books and news and all that. So